Hello and welcome to Social Media Help Desk, the day every week where we sit and talk about the news and give some tips and tricks when it comes to social media, since it's always moving and changing. I am Alexandra and I'm joined today with Ivana and Taylor. Both of them are content editors, and we're going to go ahead and get started with something that I'm going to let them lead because they know more about it. Apparently there was some drama that happened with beauty influencer James Charles. All right, who wants to start with that one?
So I'll just start with a little bit of background. Essentially, he's a young guy, and some information and some stories started to come out about maybe how he was behaving in his personal life. Mm-hmm. And as these YouTubers, these young YouTubers, so they're 19 years old, but they really are the face of their own brand. So he markets his own products, he has his own merchandise, but then he's also the face of Morphe, a palette. He was the first male CoverGirl.
Oh, right.
The face of CoverGirl. So he represents a lot of these brands. So when these stories started to come out, things started happening really quickly. And over the weekend, he lost 3 million followers just based off of word of mouth and these negatives of stories about him coming out.
Yeah, and we just kind of want to talk about how crazy it is that social media influencers can have so much of an effect on the public. Mm-hmm. I mean, he had 16 million subscribers on YouTube, which that alone at 19 years old is insane. Yeah. So, after all the drama happened and everything, everyone was definitely affected by it, and he lost 3 million. And I'm sure he lost a lot of followers on Instagram as well. Yeah. But, just anything that you put out there to the public, people are going to end up finding out, mm-hmm. and people will backfire at the same time.
Yeah, and it just shows you the power of social media. I mean, one video posted about him, and within literally hours, the story was being picked up by all the major news articles. On Mother's Day, my mom was saying, hey, who is this guy? I know you watch YouTube. What is going on? And so it really has now transcended just the YouTube sphere to basic public knowledge. I mean, people were talking about it around the office. Yeah. It really is now a news story. And it's not only going to affect his online presence, but it's affecting ad revenue for him, everything. His business, his money, views on his YouTube channel. And it's really negatively affecting him. And I think it really just paints a story for all of us about how influential your online presence can be, both negatively and positively, and how what you do online is going to reflect and sometimes overlap into your business.
Yeah, because even the little things like commenting and stuff, as a business, you need to make sure you're always, networking and interacting with your customers if they're commenting on your content and things like that, because that's showing your brand personality, and that's your only way to connect with them online. So I think it's really important. We see these social media scandals all the time. This has just happened to be one of the biggest in a while.
Yeah. Probably of all time. And he broke the record for the amount of subscribers lost in one day. But like you said, it's not an isolated incident. No. Things like this have happened to brands, CEOs of big brands, and then they start to lose their presence online, which then hurts their sales.
Exactly. And he's 19 years old. So I'm sure this isn't the end of his career, but at the same time, I think it is a good wake-up call for a lot of people who are in this influencer world.
Yeah. And I think it says something about businesses that are supporting or using influencers to help. Is choose your influencers carefully.
Definitely.
That might be something you want to look into.
CoverGirl and Morphe and a bunch of other makeup brands that he represents and he is the face of, that is going to affect their business as well.
Yeah, and I think that with those scandals, that makes people not trust influencers as much, because I follow some influencers, but I know when they're advertising and when they're posting genuine content. So even then, with certain brands working with influencers, I think it really is only effective when it's really big brands. And if anything, it's helping more the influencer than the brand in general. Because if there's with the James Charles thing, with now he has all this stuff with Morphe and CoverGirl and things like that. People aren't going to be as willing to buy his type of product that's in their line or whatever.
Yeah.
Definitely one thing to take away from this is just as a business owner, when you're deciding what influencers to look at, make sure that you're picking someone that you believe is going to align with your brand standards, is going to be a good fit, and that you're monitoring those things moving forward, because it does represent you as a leader of your brand.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
So, moving on to other news that's going on, since that is the big thing that broke. It was even showing up on my feed, and I don't even follow any of those people. I was okay, this is huge. Win major. But some stuff that came out, the F8 conference recently happened. What was it, a couple weeks ago, I think?
Yeah, probably 3 weeks ago.
2-3 weeks.
Yeah, it wasn't, so that's Facebook's thing. But one thing that was announced that they've launched on May 10th is @shop, it's literally the @ symbol shop, at Instagram, is now it's a feed, which it's Instagram runs this feed of, it's focusing on small businesses and helping them get in front of other people. And we just glanced at it really quickly. There's not very much on there yet.
Not yet.
It looks like it's specific items. It's not even like, here's a whole shop. It's like, hey, this person's wearing a shirt, you can buy this shirt. So that's the unique part about it, is you can click on it, say, I want to shop now, and you can buy the shirt directly through Instagram. You never have to leave the feed. Does this feel like something that's going to catch on? Do either of you have an opinion on that?
I think that I don't think anytime soon.
No, I don't think so either.
Instagram is so visually driven, and you know, it's kind of like Pinterest in the same way. But you know, from like a personal experience, when I'm looking at a certain brand on Instagram and I see that they have you know, the little shopping bag at the side, even if I click on it and it goes to the app side of the shop, I'll still go to the website, just as far as like security for me, you know. So like, I don't know, I think that's gonna have to take a lot of like revamping and just like people at least getting used to purchasing on the app, because for so long like you couldn't do that. And so I think it's gonna take a lot for the users to trust it and get used to it if they really want to do that. I think it's good for small businesses though, for sure.
Yeah.
And what I see what Instagram is trying to do here with this account, because it is a dedicated account that you can go to and purchase whatever Instagram is promoting. And I think it is to show off that capability of the platform, so that hopefully more brands will start to utilize shopping within Instagram, because what they essentially would like to do is make Instagram more of a catalog for brands, so that you can go and see the different products and then shop right there on the app. But like Ivana said, I think it is going to take some time to make the audience feel okay with doing that before they're ready. I mean, it probably took years, you know, looking back, it took years for some of these e-commerce websites to build trust before people were even comfortable putting their credit card into a website.
Yeah, exactly. And I think also on like another point of, it's going to take a long time for users to get used to this, because Instagram is not just to shop, you know, it's to network, it's to like, you know, post things, share stuff with your friends, your followers, whoever you're following. Like, it's not just about shopping, you know. So I think that's also going to be another thing that I don't think a lot of users are going to be very happy with, if it's just going to turn into something that all you can really do is like an online catalog, like you were saying, you know. Like, I don't think a lot of people will appreciate that, because it's not what it started out to be. But you know, things are always changing.
And specifically, this is at shop. This is like Instagram's curating a feed of these things where it's like, I don't know if I would go to them to find that out.
Almost like they're trying to compete with Amazon in a way.
Okay.
In a way where they're featuring, you know, like specific products that they've decided to put up on there. We're still not sure about how they are deciding which products they're going to be promoting, but it does seem kind of like the featured products on Amazon, which as a proven concept we know is proven to work. I mean, those products at Amazon, when you search for something, the ones that Amazon promotes and puts up higher, those ones do typically have more sales. So we know that it's a proven concept that works. Now, is it going to translate to Instagram? Is something that we're going to see months from now, if not years from now, I think.
I think it's kind of like a mixture of like Pinterest and Amazon's featured products. Like, it's like a perfect mixture, because you have like the imagery side of Pinterest, and you can still purchase things through their pins and their individual pins, but it also has like the featured products part of Amazon. So.
Well, and then Amazon does now have lists where it's like a celebrity or influencer has their curated list of these are the things I buy off of Amazon. So they're kind of doing that already with like, here's an influencer list of like the things that they have if you want to be like them kind of thing. So, I mean,
interesting.
Could be interesting. So really quickly, we're going to talk about how you probably have started to see that Facebook has changed its look, specifically their app icon. That's the first update they've had. What does that say?
Years now.
It's years. It's been a long time. Overall, this is stuff that Facebook's been talking about for a while. It's like, we're promoting groups more, we're promoting events more, trying to get that community back in there. We're just going to keep changing. I don't think there's much more to say about it. It's just happening.
I think we're also used to it now. I mean, sometimes back when they do these major changes, it is a little bit jarring, and they've definitely learned from that. And now it is like these more slow drips. First you see the app will change, and then they'll move around where some of the icons are, and then they completely redesign the icon. And by the time they got around to changing what the Facebook icon looked like, I don't think anybody is really too concerned with that now, because we're so used to seeing these new things come out from Facebook. It's not as jarring to the user, which I think on Facebook's side, that's been a great change for them, and I would definitely say that it's helping them make their app better without angering their audience.
I definitely think they're doing a good job at easing it in, because like we work with it every single day, so we noticed like that one little slight color change of the icon. But I asked a friend who does not work in social media, and she had no idea that it even changed.
Yeah, it took
So
me a
it's
while to
very
notice.
slight. Yeah, it's very subtle, but we see it every single day, so of course we're gonna notice.
Yeah, exactly. And then the last thing in the news we want to talk about is that Twitter has managed to finally figure out how to do this, which is allow you to reply to a tweet with a GIF, a video, or a picture. Previously it was only, I know, I was so excited when I found that they were doing this, because it just seemed like an obvious thing, but they had a good reason. The reason that they found it challenging, it took them so long to do it, was that it was hard for people to be able to see in their feed. It got really clunky, and they didn't want to make you feel like you were overwhelmed by what kind of replies and how people were replying. Because now with a GIF, it takes up so much more room.
Yeah, that's
true. So they were trying to do it well in your feed so it didn't feel like it took over. But this is like the best thing for me. I love this.
Yeah, and people have been asking for this for a very long time, so I think it definitely is a response to the user. And on the brand, I think, networking side, it makes it even easier for brands to now connect with the audience in a way that feels familiar to them, instead of maybe some like cheesy response or something that seems a little bit less genuine. It's a much more fun way to interact with your audience, and I think that if brands take this and run with it, it can be a really powerful networking tool for you to connect with your audience in a more personal way.
Yeah, and I think Twitter's doing a good job as far as like how you were saying that the feed can get really clogged up. You know, you see so many tweets are going out every single minute, so it can be overwhelming, but the way that they have it structured is, if there's a really popular tweet and there's a lot of like, there's a big thread going on, you can just click on that certain tweet and then you'll see the thread. Yeah. You don't see the entire thread just in your normal news feed. So now with the responses of just, GIFs, photos, and videos, it's not like it's clogging your whole feed. You know, you can just click on it and then you'll see the whole thread. So if you're interested in whatever topic it is, you can just find it that way. I think they organize it like really well.
Yeah, I agree. I'm curious to see some of those more funny accounts, like I think specifically of Wendy's and how Wendy's will reply to other businesses. Definitely, I'm just waiting for like McDonald's to post something and Wendy's just to post some sort of GIF and meme, and I'm just like waiting for that to happen.
I think it's going to really elevate the platform in a way that they already know and they already understand, okay, people like to communicate with each other in this way. Twitter is becoming more visual rather than just words and tweets, and I think that they're taking that and using it in a way that's only going to benefit their platform and their users, and I think that all their changes just get better every day. So I'm happy about that direction.
Yeah. It's very cool. I think that's a good one where they actually listened and they figured it out.
Yeah.
You're going to see this. I mean, it's the same thing we see constantly is photos do better, video does better. I mean, you can reply with a video now, so I can only imagine what that's all going to look like.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so now moving on to some of our tips that we have to offer. We are going to start with Ivana. She's going to tell us a little bit about LinkedIn's commercial use and how to get around some of the blockages that you can find up against. What is that? Go ahead and tell me.
So, as everyone really knows, LinkedIn is really all about networking professionally. Whether you're trying to find a job or you're trying to find new prospects or whatever the case may be, you're using LinkedIn to network with other people for your business. But what LinkedIn does, so there's different types of accounts that you can have on LinkedIn. So you can have your regular account where you don't pay. That has, limited features and things like that. And then you also have 3 other ones. So there's the Premium Essentials, and then there's Premium Career, and then Sales Navigator. So each of those are going to be just different in terms of what you need out of LinkedIn and then networking. So say you want a Premium Career, that's if you're looking for jobs. But basically, if you don't have any of those accounts, then you have a lot of limits as to what you can do within the networking. So one of the biggest ones that right now they have is the commercial user limit. So basically what that is, it restricts the number of profiles you're able to search within a given month. So say you're trying to network, trying to find certain prospects for your business or whatever, you're only allowed a certain amount of times you're able to search someone and click on their profile.
Got it.
If that makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, so basically, the thing about it though, there's not really a specific limit as to how many searches you can get.
Yeah.
It gets refreshed at the beginning of the month at midnight every single month. So that's a good thing to know if you want to kind of avoid it in a certain way. But there isn't a set limit. So you kind of just have to find ways to go around it. And so we have 3 little tips of how to kind of get around the limit.
Very cool. That's really what this is about, is finding out how to circumvent that issue.
Yeah. So basically, avoid untargeted searches. So if you don't know the person and if you're trying to search someone, just really look at whatever their description is, their name, what position they are in this company. You don't have to click on the actual profile to get this information. And also, if you really don't know this person, a good way is to Google them first, to just kind of, limit the amount of times that you're looking at someone's profile, because you can search someone, it's just the fact when you click on their actual profile, that's when they're going to take it away.
Okay.
So trying to get like a little version of whatever. Like,
just
here's
try
a
to get
taster.
as much information without actually clicking on the profile, and I think that's actually pretty easily doable if you just Google them. And then if you're not connected with them anyway, you're not going to get that much information to begin with. So just if you really want to connect with this person, then click on it and connect. But if you don't know yet, you're not too sure, like you want to kind of find out more info, then Google them first, look at their business, go from there. Yeah,
there's a lot of other additional information typically about, especially because this is a tool for typically business owners or people who have positions in the industry. So there's a lot of other valuable information off of LinkedIn first before then diving deeper.
Yeah. Okay. And you don't have to connect with every single person that you just maybe can think be like a good prospect. I think you should be connecting with genuine people that you think that you could really get some good business out of. And the second one is remove any third-party applications. So there are certain applications that LinkedIn will help you connect with certain people, but they make you run out of your set amount of times very quickly. So I think that's just another one. Just get rid of those. Just be authentic and organic with it, which you should be doing anyway as far as networking on LinkedIn. And then the third one, which is probably I think the most useful, is just to spread out your networking. So instead of spending 2 straight hours trying to search for people, search for businesses, spend 15 minutes at a time. Just like throughout the day or throughout your week. I think that will help the algorithm as well.
I think that's also a helpful tip for just people who don't obviously do social media all day like we do, but people who are trying to fit this into their everyday lives. It's not as practical for someone to sit there and spend 2 hours searching through people on LinkedIn. I mean, I wouldn't recommend that for you. It's not as a good, obviously, as a good way to spend your time, but being able to fit in just little chunks of time here and there, 15 minutes here and there, I think you're going to get a more quality search, and it's going to be a better way for you to spend your time and therefore build your following.
Yeah, and I think, after like 30 minutes of just searching, everything kind of looks the same. So I think, just doing like little snippets here and there will, be the most beneficial. And if you want to get the premium, the only account that's going to actually allow you to have an unlimited amount of searches is a sales navigator. The other 2 are more for if you're looking for a job or just different types of assets. So
got it.
So who's someone who would benefit from the more sales navigator type of profile? Someone who's looking,
like say you're a recruiter and you're looking for people who you could help get into your recruiting firm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or like a doctor's office, and you want businesses to be on your workers' compensation plan. So you're looking for HR people to connect with. So talk to them about your program and things like that.
Yeah,
so
where you need to go through a more frequent number.
Yeah, like if you're looking for a certain position too, like I'm looking for HR people, or I'm looking for the PR person of this company, things like that. If you're looking for a career, I think you shouldn't use the sales navigator because you're not really trying to make any connections as far as that way. So,
and I think LinkedIn has these kind of limitations in there for good reason, is because even as you as a business owner, as someone who's trying to network on the platform, it can get muddled up, and it's not as useful if everyone is just sending out hundreds of connection requests
and I'm sure
to everyone.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone gets annoyed when you get all those salesy messages on LinkedIn. So I know I'm very careful with who I connect with, and so I think it makes sense that they're doing that.
Yeah, and it's about just being, a better connection on LinkedIn and finding people who are actually powerful for you and your business rather than just everyone.
Yeah, it's just the authentic connections more than anything else.
Yeah, we push that a lot here. You hear it a lot. It's always do it authentically.
Yeah, absolutely.
You'll get the best results that way.
That's even regardless of needing those tips and tricks. Like, just know that it's worth your time to spend good time doing it, looking for the right things, and that quick look at somebody's thing will tell you immediately whether you're like, oh, this is not the right person, or it is. That's an easy one to start with.
Definitely.
So, okay, now Taylor, you're going to tell us about broken buzzwords.
Yes.
Go ahead and get started.
So one of the things that's really important as somebody who is posting online, whether you are somebody in our position or even just a business owner who's using their blog or their social media channels to promote their business, writing is going to be the most important, I think, one of the most important parts of your strategy, and being able to tell your story in a way that makes sense to the reader. So having that skill and practicing that skill is going to be really important for anybody who wants to do what we do or start to market themselves online. And one way that can, I think, set you apart as maybe not as strong of a writer is misusing some of these buzzwords. So they're words that we all hear and see all the time that are typically just overused and overdone, and they're really more as embellishments rather than adding value to your story.
Yeah.
So when you're using a blog to help either explain an event that your brand went to or a new product that you're launching, these are the words that are really just muddying up what you're saying. And while you think as you're writing that it's interesting and adding good information, but really it's just disrupting the flow of your writing.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think it depends on what industry you're in. It's going to, alter
Absolutely.
the types of buzzwords that you get. And we were talking about this earlier, and good writing is really going to captivate your audience. And I'm always trying to look for different natural products and things like that. And the biggest one is always wellness.
Yes.
Oh,
Every
yeah.
time I see the word wellness, it's annoying because it just gets lost in everything else, So to really make your brand stand out, you want to use words that are different and unique.
I think that kind of hits on one of the ways that people are overusing these words, is that they're fashionable words. They're words that are really trendy right now.
So they think that people are going to want them.
Exactly. They think that they're buzzwords, but really it's broken. Like we said, it's not adding any more value. And if you're trying to stand apart from your competition, this is just going to suck you back in and actually have the opposite effect of what you're looking for. I think people use this because they want to stay in the loop and they want to seem like they're on trend.
Yeah.
But it's actually having a negative effect. And I mean, everyone is guilty of this. And so I think really, from a writing standpoint, it's just something to be aware of.
Yeah.
So after you write your content, whether it's your blog or your post, read through and see if you are using words that are just a little bit overdone. I pulled a couple kind of funny ones that we see all the time. So I think when people say thinking outside of the box, for more professional industries, or when you're talking about a strategy, that's one that we see all the time.
Yeah.
And it's just so overdone.
Or even company culture, they say that all the
Company
time.
culture,
We all think
yes.
outside of the box.
Hitting the ground running, that's one too that is just used all the time. One of my bigger pet peeves is at the end of the day. I think that's one that people throw in because they think it's a good way to wrap up their point or their idea.
It's
And
a lot of fluff.
I'm sure we've been guilty of it too.
Sure.
Sitting here talking about a topic and then say, well, at the end of the day, does it really matter? I mean, it's just a phrase, but it's so overdone. It actually takes away from the quality of your writing. And so that's one that's just super overdone and just kind of cluttering up your content.
Yeah, it's all these words that become fluff and meaningless after a while. I think wellness is a perfect example of that.
So funny
because
to me.
everybody
I
can
always
say
notice.
it's about wellness, and you're just like, okay, but what does that mean? And no one can tell you.
Exactly.
It's just pretty sounding
and
right now.
it's not to say you can still use those words in hashtags maybe. Don't use them in your blog title every single week.
Right.
You can put it in your Instagram post as a hashtag still. You're still having that word in there, so if people are looking for it or whatever, it's still in there, but you don't have to use it as your main thing every single time.
I think that another place that I see this a lot too is, and Alexandra, I know you'll agree with it, is in website copying.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
In the way that you describe your company or how you stand out. I think a lot of times it's really easy to just go back to those key terms. I mean, you said company culture. That's something that everyone's going to say, oh, why would you want to work here? Oh, because we have great company culture. Great, but that is not adding a lot of value. What does that mean to the person reading? And we definitely see these buzzwords overused in website copy, and that's something that sometimes we'll come in and we'll give suggestions to people who will be looking at their websites. So one thing to just be mindful of is, does this add to what I'm trying to say, or is it detracting from what I'm trying to say? And if you use that as a key indicator, I think that will really help your writing moving forward, whether it's on your website or just in your content or any of that.
And I think there's a difference between recognizing that, especially when it comes to websites, is there's buzzwords and then there's keywords. There's things that someone is searching for, actively searching for. I am never going to search for a wellness something or other.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm just not going to do
wellness
it.
shop.
Somebody,
what does that even mean?
Yeah, a wellness shop. Perfect. I don't know what I would find if I Googled that. But if your business is a digital marketing, if we're an ad agency, or if you are a personal investigator, I don't know, you could be anything. But using those keywords that are how people are going to find you, and
Yeah.
that's, you know, any of those platforms, social media or otherwise. And so using those in your copy on your blog, we do that all the time. We
Yeah.
say find those keywords that this topic is about, and that's what someone's going to find when they search. And
Yeah.
you'll notice a lot of times when you search for things that we have, a blog will come up as opposed to just the homepage of our site. And so that's intentionally using keywords and not focusing on those buzzwords.
Yeah.
Keywords add value and buzzwords distract the audience.
Yeah.
And I think the way that they add value is, you know, buzzwords, they're gonna come and go with time.
True.
And keywords are always gonna be the same. They're always gonna be
Yep.
there. So
Yeah. So there you go. If you have more questions about that, of course these blogs are all up on there. But one thing I want to mention before we go is upcoming in June we have social media boot camp. And both of you ladies are teaching something. You're
We
going to be
are,
involved,
yes.
right? Which one are you doing?
Facebook.
Facebook?
Yes. Ivana will be doing Facebook, and I'll be helping out in the YouTube and video section.
Video, yeah. So this is a 4-week thing. It happens all throughout June on a Friday. You can sign up on our website. We have, you know, all kinds of different ones. So it's going to be Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, Facebook,
And
LinkedIn. And is it Instagram and Pinterest that are or is there's
Yes.
one that's
Yes.
together? Yeah, Instagram and Pinterest are the ones that happen together. So if you are interested in learning more, because we like to make sure that people can come here and learn and be educated about it, and we would love to help walk you through it. We even help, you know, set it up for you if you're brand new to it. It's here local to Orange County. And so if you are curious, please go to our website, kwsmdigital.com. Again, it's called our Bootcamp Series. And if you have any questions that you'd like us to answer on any time we're doing social media help desk, please feel free to email us at tips@kwsmdigital.com. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Ivana and Taylor, for joining me. And we will see you next week.